Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel I feel I've changed enormously in the last kind of 3 months through a variety of different things, because I made a very conscious decision that I wanted to change myself. I feel like a more magical being. I feel like I'm creating things out of nothing. I'm not sure whether that's manipulation or I don't want to analyze it too much, but I feel like a much more magical being at the moment. And I feel that I've managed to let go of I feel like I suppose all the positives, I feel more magical. I feel like I'm creating so much more. I feel like I'm taking charge of a lot. And the kind of negative that is I don't quite trust it. I don't quite trust that certainly the happiness I'm feeling at the moment is not the same old, being fed from outside of me as opposed to the changes within me. So there's self-doubt, really attached to the course. I feel more confused about who I am than I've ever in my whole life. And I feel like I'm a million miles away from having any spiritual life at all. And it's the first course I've ever done that I've got so confused about words and felt so lost, but something seems to land that's out of my awareness, and it's out of the awareness for me to do the usual thing, which is analyze. So yes. Yes, I think I've said enough there.
Yeah, love it. Thank you. Thank you, Lorraine. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Who's next? Who's next? Sorry. Okay, Emily, I just saw unmute, so I'm responding to that.
Yeah, I feel like this class has caused a lot of new direction for me. So I just feel very redirected. And so feeling like I've let go of a lot of my past and people maybe that I was wanting to spend all my time with, that I don't want to do that the same. Through that redirection, I just kind of understanding a new focus and coming in to the concept of some sort of a structure of my mind, which is just new to me, to be able to sort of look at it in a new way. And I like it when there's metaphors for me for understanding. And so that's kind of where I feel like I get some feedback and answers in a sense of understanding. And part of what I took away from our last talk about just recapping basically that gap we're looking for in our thoughts and our mind. And I started to formulate it that it's like almost like getting rid of your spam email. You're never going to not get email. You're never, you're not going to sit there and analyze every piece of mail that comes in, but you need to kind of look at it and decide, is this something I want to spend my time and energy looking at? And of course, your spam email, you know right away you don't want to look at that. And so I sort of started this metaphor in my mind when we were talking about that there's this element of paying attention to it, but not getting sucked into every email. You could have overloads of email. You could be saving all your spam messages. You could just get buried in this attachment phase of all of these things that apparently you need to be a part of. But really letting go of what everybody else's ideas of what you need to be thinking about is basically kind of what email is. You get these companies sending you something, they want you thinking about that. That's, sort of an imposed thought on you. And I feel like, just having that understanding a little bit more, trying to be able to create that gap and not fall into it, is, these structures and stuff, they help me to be able to sort of identify it without a personalization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Gap in personalization. Yeah. Thank you, Emily. Yeah. Who's going next?
I'll go.
Yeah.
I would say definitely more awareness. I'm sorry, I'm reading because I have so many things that I wanted to get them all down. More seeing that my unhelpful behaviors or choices come out of this need to self-protect, but maladaptively. More courage, less selflessness, which is awesome. More hard nose around me. More confidence. And definitely less in my mind about decisions and coming from an internal body feeling sense of what is okay for me and what's not okay for me. Less attachment to fear. A really deep need to be alone by myself without outside chaos. And then I think this has been more recently, but a greater sense that there's something outside of me, bigger, larger, I don't know what, but drawing me to experiences or people that I have an affinity with or that I'm supposed to be around for some reason.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Awareness. Yeah. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Who's next? Yeah. KBM.
Oh God, sorry. I need to mute. Sorry, my daughter just rang me.
Oh, okay.
Can I deal with that? Sorry, peeps. Because she's away.
Yeah. So who's next? So okay, yeah, Kelly.
I think for me, I've noticed a lot of big personal changes. You know, being in situations like allowing a lot of the chaos to stay. So like since beginning this journey, I sort of clarified for myself, relationship-wise, what wasn't right, what, you know, I think I know what would be right, but I ended my relationship that was, you know, backwards and forwards for a couple of years there, and but I did it without the chaos. I did it in a very calm time and just, you know, so I did it in a way that was suitable for me to let go, without having any upset or anger and, you know, hurt or anything like that. Also being clear with, you know, obviously beginning of the year with this is my no year, where I'm just it's not just about putting me first, it's just about not putting everyone and everything else first. It's just about being happy in the here and now and doing what's in my best interest, you know, without, I don't know, there's no guilt associated with it. It's not that I'm doing anything wrong by anybody else. It's just I'm more focusing on doing what is right by me, and say making those changes without fear of, you know, the situation I'm in. Like, I've got to find a house. Everyone says, "Aren't you worried?" I'm like, no, I'm not. I'll find something. Something will turn up, or a situation will turn up. But I'm okay with that, and it's not. Yeah, so there's no emotion attached to that. It's just like, oh, bummer I don't get to keep my house. So yeah, I think I'm a lot more at ease within myself.
Yeah.
That's the biggest change, I think. It's knowing what, not necessarily what I want, but knowing what I don't want and stepping away from that.
Yeah.
So I think what I want will become clear, but I just know what I don't want and
Yeah.
where I don't want to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah. Okay. And who's next? ABM. Yeah. Marcus.
Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I was on mute. Crikey, all sorts of things really, but and flavors of what other people have said too about it's it's like having more definition and losing definition all at the same time, and not being so people pleasing and being okay with the tension that arises when you just, you know, you say no, or you know, whatever that is. I can't think of an example now. And I'm noticing relationships as shifting, and I'm not losing them necessarily, they're just shifting. Obviously, you know, that my marriage was on its way before I think we started this course, and that's concluded in a it was like a house of cards. It's been so clean. Yeah, it's almost like a bit surreal how easy it's been, and it feels so right. Yeah, there was a sense of like losing not losing my mind in a bonkers kind of way, but like I'm not, oh God, it's so difficult, and words are so clunky, aren't they? Because as soon as you say them, they become like definitive, and that's not what I want to say really. But like today, I was aware of the fact that I was just being. I wasn't thinking about whether I was doing things in an efficient way or a good way or a bad way. I was just being, and that happens more and more. I think Belinda alluded to that earlier on. Yeah, it's just, and it feels like my future is an open book with no words in it, you know, and I can write that, and that most of my life has been spent living or reading a book that somebody else wrote for me. So when we did identity, well, I wasn't on the call last time towards the end, but the identity stuff, and I went through the recording, I could really relate to a lot of that, you know, when you get to that point when it's like me, when you go, oh my God, you know, this is like, who's chosen this life? Because it wasn't me. And then I think, who was it, Kelly, that said, it's like, you know, you have to find out what you don't want to find out what you do. And it sort of flavors of all of that really. It's just been brilliant. And yet at the same time, it feels very powerful, but it's really subtle. Yeah, so it's not like big, like, whoa, hey moments. It's just little subtle filtering through all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. And who's next?
I'll go next. Catherine, I love what you said. Everything in a nutshell. It's beautiful. Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah. For me, I just have a vision of myself out in the ocean, and I feel like I've been most of my life, or all of my life until now, I've been swimming to all these different islands, and the islands have been not my islands. And now I feel like I've actually arrived on my island, and there is the blame and the shame and all the, you know, the other things that have been brought up. And I'm sitting on the island. I just feel there's more stability. There's something beneath me that I can come from. That I can radiate from. that I can internalize from. And in this moment, I feel like instead of having what I've been doing, swimming out to all the other islands, that what needs to come to me will come to me rather than me, using all of my energy field in the drowningness of that to get to where I think I need to go. It's such an illusion.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And today I just feel so much love for everybody and everything. And I feel the depth of who I am. And I always have. But it's like, in a way, I don't care anymore. In a way, I don't, not as in a negative thing. It's just like, it's okay. It's okay to be like here and be a human being.
Yeah.
And experience. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Tanya. Yeah, Marcus.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin that space. That's really wonderful, Tanya. I love feeling that where you're at. So my background is from being an actor, so I'm going to use that metaphor. So one thing that being a great actor is about being fully present in the moment as your character. And one thing I tell people in coaching is that and since we've started, this is really what's come to me and connected with and made that really powerful. But we're just really actors that have we've been playing this character so long that we forgot that we're an actor. And once we're able to step out back into that space of being an actor, which is really that universal space of everything and nothing, right? Then we're able to, it's the same process we're doing here. And so it's just been a really rich experience for me. I've just let go of so much of my fondness for my character, I think is one of the profound things. Really the stuff that I love the most about playing that character, I've been able to really let go of and not snap back to. And then also, I think the other big thing that I've gotten, and just recently, you and I talked about this, was how much of my life was about what I didn't want people to think about me. I live much more in my truth in many ways than, other people and their egos. But there's still all of this stuff that I'm taking and worrying about and predicting. And that audience perception and how that really impacted my freedom in the moment to be, that's been really wonderful. And I've just been unhooking so many things that were I've done work consciously for so long, but in that being it's I'm really, the process of emotion was a profound teaching for me, and I love it. And I'm using it all the time. And when I just look with anyone or myself, I'm able to unhook things that I've wanted to unhook for years. And then the amount of space and freedom and creativity and possibility that's present, I just really feel not only am I this actor, but I've also taken back being the director and the playwright. And I think that's the biggest shift, is I really feel the power of being the playwright in my life in a way that I didn't have before, because as an actor, you don't get to write what the character does. You have to be in the moment and the script is given to you. And so for this, all this unhooking has really given me free range in my script to really author. That's the dimension I'm noticing most in my life, and that's really exciting.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcus. Yeah, you're on there. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And Belinda?
Yeah, Marcus, I totally agree with what he said about that. The actor and the writer, actually, this is where, for me, it's been really new grounds. I guess the last 3 to 4 months, almost, the centeredness and maturity. Yeah, centeredness is really the word. And the magic, there's magic in once you release control. Understanding the beingness of that touch screen and not doing. In the not doing is when it happens, and that's what I call, I think, magic. I'm not sure. And again, it's what I've got written. It's about writing my. It's almost like there's been a snap of free will, understanding the depths of what free will really mean for me anyway. Everyone talks about it, but the depths of it is absolutely something, yeah, different. I think when it's like, for me, understanding and grasping free will kind of changed. That's when my journey really started to change. That I'm the one that has to write. And that centeredness where you lose control, you will let it go, really. You're not losing it. And understanding that centeredness, that beingness in that space, and allowing things to unfold. And again, it's that touch screen. You just put it out there, and then there's a calmness to it. There's a state of receptivity where you're like the center of the hurricane. Things, you could see it all just swirling all around, and you can see it for what it really is. Yeah, that's been my biggest. And it's your journey, not mine, but understanding it from also the aspect of that it's not about me, nor is it because of me, was a really big eye-opener. And understanding that and the depths of that actually as well. So understanding that it's not even about me or because of me kind of gives me this freedom to understand that I still can choose it. I'm not destined to any of it, but in that release, I mean, I've had my tantrums along the way of the nothingness. It's like, because I got that to, like, last year, it was like, well, then I'm nothing. What does that mean? And that nothingness was quite challenging, but I'm really getting used to the nothingness. That was actually part of the aim for me, of that being, for taking this course on, was in the just being and the nothingness, because I understand it, but I want to be it continuously. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Belinda. Thank you. And thank you for sharing, because that is an awareness that you need. Because when you are working with someone, you should understand that this is a subtle process. This is not about tools. This is about understanding. No amount of tools can help if you are lacking this understanding. So as I was referring to the other client, she was saying, I've been working for so many years on all these modalities. I've been doing mantras. I've been doing mindfulness. I've been doing all of these things. But what changed? What changed in your language, and you all heard each other, is that understanding, is that awareness, the language you used, the gaps. It is about that. And that can be very subtle. So here, if you see, my mode is not motivation. It's not about inspiring you and taking you into a different state and motivating you and pushing you out there. And that's not the idea, because that is for a different space. This space is subtle, this is deep, this is real. And that shifts when they happen, everything will shift around you. So when you're working with someone, as I said, my word for this year is nonviolence, because the aggression with which we want to get things done, if you can pull yourself back from that aggression, you can see the subtle nature of shifts and how powerful they can be. I really like the word KBM said, it's powerful but subtle. That's what you will be doing as well when you're working with someone. So the shifts that happen are not, I'm giving you the information, and sometimes in the coaching space, when I'm talking to somebody, I'll tell them, I'm not talking to you. So I'm not talking to you, and I'm giving instructions to that mind to change a pattern. So if you're not controlling your mind, I am controlling your mind at that point, and I am not manipulating, because manipulation is where I have wrong intentions, right? The only difference when you feed your pet with a medicine included in the food, you just mix it with the food and you feed it. Is it a manipulation or is it caring? Right? So these changes are subtle, but the transformation is real. It happens in a different plane. So you don't need tools. You don't need to keep something going on like daily affirmations or journals or something. The shifts will happen with this understanding. And also, I think it's important for me to know where you are and when I take this conversation further. All right. So now, thank you for that awareness, and thank you for observing that. So one of the tools is observation for us. Yeah. So are we all observing? Are we all observing? Anybody failing in it? No? Yeah. So observation. The more you become clearer with observation, once you master that, if you took 1 year to get over some sadness, you may take 3 months, then 2 months, then hours, and then minutes, and then seconds. You can flip it. And after that, you will never see that. That's how the progress is. That's the process. So now what I want you to do is, wherever you are, because you're already in that reflection mode, I want us to work a little bit on emotions and understand few of the emotions. We will have a discussion about these powerful emotions. So anger, right? Anger. Anger is a symptom of suppression. Anger is a symptom of suppression. Right? So, and why suppression? When there is suppression in somebody's life, when you're dealing with someone who has got this negative emotion of anger and quick to react, impulsive, quick to say something. Yeah, Kathy, KBM.
Sorry, Manna, are you saying separation or suppression?
Suppression.
So being suppressed.
Suppressed. Yeah, suppressed. Yeah. So when you're working with someone who is snappy, who is angry, who is getting frustrated, who is annoyed or easily anxious, when you're working with anger, if I ask you, on the 3 qualities, where are they? The 3 innate qualities, where are they? Yeah.
Raja?
Rajas. Yeah, that's right. Passion, action, they're over there. Right? Now, when somebody is now in shame, you got a point, tick, tick. Yeah. Shame. Shame is another powerful emotion. Shame. And so now I want us to think about shame and discuss what is shame. Because shame and guilt are 2 sides of the same coin. Shame. So what is shame? Yeah.
Judgment.
Shame is judgment. Yeah. Shame. What else is shame? Yeah. Belinda.
I don't know if this is what I experienced with shame was an inner conflict. There was an outer conflict and inner conflict. They're not in alignment. So there's something going on within, but it doesn't